But time to move on to our next management. In fact, the next one on the show is Uno Minda. That's the company in focus. To talk about the demand trends in 2025, we have with us Mr. Sunil Bohra, Group CFO at Uno Minda. Mr. Bohra, great to have you on. Thanks for joining in. So I think, those are the conversations we've been having for the last couple of days as we're trying to gauge how many companies and corporates on ground are very realistically optimistic on the second half. The first half has been slower. You tell us, what are you seeing both in the domestic markets and in your global markets? Because even in the global markets, the automotive space has been fairly crimped in 2024, particularly in areas like Europe.
Yeah, so starting with the domestic market, Surabhi, so the first half, what we have seen, as you rightly mentioned, the auto market specifically domestically has been very good, led by the significant growth in two-wheelers, which has been into mid to high teens, and we do expect that momentum to continue in second half. And also the same way, the PV growth, what has been in H1, which has been a single digit, we expect that momentum to continue. But if you see the medium to long-term growth trajectory expected for the segment or for the sector, we are quite optimistic, and we have been significantly investing in building our capacities. As we know, we have been currently working on our 13 expansion projects, which is primarily mirroring the growth we do expect in the medium to long term. Coming to the Europe and the export market for us, though it is a very small revenue for us, it's around 12-13% of overall revenue, which comes from our exports plus the global operations. So specifically in, if you see in ASEAN, the business is actually very good. It's stable to positive. In Europe, yes, and Americas, the export has been little impacted because of some headwinds in terms of lower volumes, and we do expect that to continue maybe for some time now. We don't see any significant improvement in the near term.
Sunil, hi, good morning. Prashant this side, and Happy New Year to you and the Uno team. Before we come to the EV opportunity, Sunil, and what's happening there, because there are product launches, especially from players like Mahindra, etc., and of course on the two-wheeler side as well. Just give us a sense. I mean, you have added so much capacity, new manufacturing lines, new product categories that you enter into, and suddenly a new segment opens up in terms of growth for you. Just give us the latest in terms of the bigger product categories and how each of them are doing. Just the top 3, 4 to give us a sense of, and of course your expectations for 25 for each of these.
Yeah. So specifically from the EV perspective, what you have touched base on, Prashant, we have been front runner in adding a lot of EV products, because a lot of our, not a lot, in fact, 95% of our existing businesses are not impacted by EV. They have they are basically agnostic to any type of energy vehicle runs on, be it seats, lamps, etc., etc. On top of it, we have been building our EV profile for starting with two-wheeler and three-wheeler very, very aggressively. And the kind of product profile we have, we are seeing significant traction. And if you have to convert that into numbers, even our last quarter numbers, our revenues from the EV segment specifically of the two-wheeler segment is almost like 14% or so, whereas the industry penetration was around 7%. That clearly shows the benefit or the upside we have been able to capture because of the transition from ICE to EV. And even in terms of PV, we have been building our product profile gradually. Though the volumes are very low, we have been working on to see that when the volumes pick up in next 2 to 3 years, we should be able to capture lion's share. We have tied up with a couple of technology partners like EVSE and for EVSE product from StarCharge and EXL with Inovance. We have already secured some of the business from our customers for the wall-mounted chargers or EVSE, and we are in process of putting capex to deliver those volumes in next year or so. And from the other product, which is the EXL, etc., which is a high kit value product, almost 1.5 to 2 lakh rupees potential kit value. There we are still working on our project schedule and project plan. And in another 2 to 3 years, that project also should be up and running. So that's the broad perspective on the new products which we are adding. On top of it, if you remember, we have also added products like sunroof, which again is a high kit value product. That is also in next 18 to 24 months, we'll see a start of production because it's linked to the business we have secured from with the launch of the new model of the customer.
Sure, sure. That's pretty interesting, Mr. Bora. And just to follow up on the whole EV part of it, as you add these new products and as you expand your EV offerings, even on the four-wheeler side, how much of your business will have EV exposure? I mean, just trying to understand across two-wheelers, four-wheelers, across the board. And typically, when you sort of offer more EV products, how do they compare in terms of margins? I'm not sure. I mean, whether it's switches, whether it's any of the other components. Do they fetch you better value? Because whether it is local PV manufacturers or even international, I mean, EV is definitely, it's here to stay.
Well, definitely, it's little early to comment on margins on EV Surabhi because we all know that even our customers are trying to penetrate the markets with the attractive pricing. So it's little early to expect that we will be able to make a better margin on EV products. But as volumes ramp up, we do expect our margins overall to be in line with the business margins because today a lot of the EV businesses we have set up some capacities. They are not 100% utilized. They are gradually sort of expanding. And as we move forward, we do expect that operating leverage factor to come into play. But what we have to consider is that all the existing product, what you mentioned, like switches, lamps, seats, they continue to be in EV as we have in ICE.
And ICE, yes, both.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Plus you have the new products which are coming in specifically for EV. Interesting times, and I think once third quarter numbers are out, that's when we'll discuss further financials and projections for the full year and for the next year. But for now, thank you very much, and good luck for 2025. That's Uno Minda.